Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the model railway build. So as you can see, the layout is progressing nicely, and today's video will be mainly focusing on the fencing and the coal merchants yard. So hopefully you enjoy, and we'll see how we get on. So this is where we got to on the last video. So as you can see, the grass is now down on the field and the brown ballast is in between the road and the track in the coal yard. So this video has been looking at the fencing, and I've bought this kit, which is a laser cut wire and fence kit. I got this off eBay, and I'll put the picture up over here. So it cost just over £5 including postage, and that includes the post and the wire. And then if I can try and get the screen to focus a little bit, try again. There we go. I've spray painted these already in grey to sort of give a concrete effect. And the idea is to go round the field, putting them posts in, and then weaving in the wire. So I've got a tiny drill bit in, and I'm going to put some holes in the board to where I want to put the fence posts in. And then I will drill a little hole, put the fence posts in, and probably use super glue to put them in, and then try and feed through the wire. So never used these before, so these are brand new, so we'll see how we get on. So that's the first few done. As you can see, they've lined up quite nicely. They weren't too difficult to put in. But now comes the fun bit. I've got to try and somehow feed the wire through all of them posts, so wish me luck. So I've got my wire, and the idea is there's 4 or 5 holes in each post, and you've got to feed it through each one. Try not to bend it too much, try and get the wire as straight as possible. So I won't film me doing all of that, and I'll just show you how it turns out once I've had a go. So this is attempt 1. As you can see, it started off quite nice, and then I've had a few little issues with the wire bending. It's very easy to bend, but I think with a bit of shrubbery and stuff, that'll be quite easy to hide, and then I might be able to straighten it out anyway. So that's the first little section done. I quite actually like it. Adds a bit of different variety to the layout, being wire fencing rather than the brown fencing I've used. And then behind it, I've put down some brown fencing to separate the road from the merchant coal yard. But I thought it'd be quite nice to use both types of fencing there, just to show the balance and sort of change the scene a little bit up, rather than just using all the same fencing. But I quite like that. And then, like I say, with a bit of shrubbery, it would look quite nice. So this is how the fence posts come. And all you literally do is you break them off. I just break them off with my hands, but I think you probably should use like a knife. And then there you see there's 4 or 5 holes, and then all I've done, I've put them into a little piece of foam like that, and then spray painted them, just to make it quick and easy, and then they dry within about 10 minutes. Then you can then get on with laying them on your layout. So really pleased with how it's come out so far. Still got quite a bit to do, as you can see, because they're going to go around all the grass area. But quite pleased with it, and it's quite cheap and affordable when you think it's only just over £5 including postage for the fencing. So I'm carrying on now, and I've left a gap where them 2 sort of brown wheel marks are going to be. And I've used this bit of fence as a spacer to work out how far to put each post, roughly. Then I drill my holes in with my drill, insert them, and then glue them in with a bit of super glue so they quickly set in, so I can get on with the next one, and hopefully it won't take too long to get this done now. Just a pre-warning, if you do use this stuff, which I found earlier, make sure you put the holes in the fencing the right way around, because earlier I glued one in and had the holes facing the wrong direction, so I had to take that one out. So just a pre-warning, if you do this, don't make the same mistake as I did earlier. So I'm just using cheap PVA glue, which I got from the supermarket the other day. And what I'm doing is just literally putting a dab of that in the hole all around it, and then letting it set. But it's working quite nicely at the minute. So this is the bit I've been fearing the most, is trying to get it to go around bends. So this stuff is great for straights and bits of fence, but going around corners, it's not the easiest to do. So I've tried to film this a little bit closer. You can see how I'm struggling, so to apologise about my big hands in the way sometimes, but because the wire is so thin, it's really easy to bend, which is a positive because you can get around the corners, but it doesn't stay straight for long. So that's one positive and negative of this, but hopefully it works out okay, and then any issues I can sort of hopefully hide out with some bushes or trees or shrubbery or something anyway, but we will see how it goes. So as you can see, I've done that. Some of it looks okay, some of it's not as great. And then all I'm using is this Dremel just to wear down the ends for where this opening is, where I'm going to have a gate and for the farmers to get onto his field. It's quite time consuming, I'd say, using this fencing rather than just buying pre-made fencing. But I quite like how it's quite open and it just gives it a different feel to the layout. And wire fencing rather than just the brown stuff which you can see in the background. But yeah, just using this Dremel just to wear down just a bit, because it's not the easiest thing to cut, so I can just wear it down with the Dremel. So I've got all the posts in now. I've just got one more section to add all the wiring. And before I do that though, I just want to add a bit more static grass in front of it, try and add a bit more height, and for the boundary between the ballast and the fencing. So just going over it with the spray which I've used before in previous videos, the layering spray. I'm using the cardboard to protect the post from getting covered, and then I'll go over that with a bit of static grass. Just try and add a little bit more height and to look like it's a bit more unkept. So I'm going to use 7mm static grass this time, and just go over and just try and add a little bit more height to it, using the same method before, so I won't go through this process too much because I've done this before on a couple of videos now, but just the same idea. And then a bit later on we have finished. So I've added a couple of bit of shrubs already, but all the wire fencing now is in place. Quite happy with it overall. Most of it looks good. There's a bit of a few ropey areas, which I will hide with a bit of foliage, which I've already started doing, but overall I think it splits the layout quite nicely from the road, the railway and the farm yard. Really nice. I need to add a bit more grass in certain areas, but overall really pleased with that, and I think it has quite a good impact on the layout. So moving on from that area, as you can see, I've weathered the coal yard. I'll show you how I did that in a minute, but I've added a bit of foliage in front here and around the bottom of the fencing now, and a little bit in the coal yard. I've also added some coal, but the main thing you see, I've added a few shrubberies to try and break up the scene a little bit, and just glued in with PVA glue for now. And then we've got the fencing done now at the back to split it up a bit more from where the car park is for the station. But I've used this weathering powder. Try and get to this. There you go. There's the code. It's the black one. And what I've done, I've brushed it on, just to make the coal yard dirty, and then I've done some tyre tracks for the entrance. And then I've added some bushes, same sort of method as before, just a few areas, PVA glued it on, and then broke them up with a couple of different colours. And there's my gate I've put on, and just PVA glued that into place, because my scene will be that the farmer's coming in with his tractor or leaving with his tractor, whatever way around. And then added some more grass there, and then I've done the same method there with the fence and just drilled some holes and glued it in. So the scene's now coming alive, and the station area is realistically the last big area to do. Well, thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and like the video, and hopefully see you for episode 8.